Do you feel that? That quiet disconnect in a place where a strong connection used to live. It's like a hollowness in your chest, a silence on the other end of the line where you were so sure you used to hear a voice. The foundation of your spiritual life, something you thought was solid as a rock, now feels like it's shifting under your feet. And there's that nagging question that echoes in the quiet moments. Will I ever get that back? I want to share something with you that might be a relief to hear. Finding your way back to that connection doesn't have to be some monumental uphill battle. The journey back to belief, back to that feeling of peace and purpose, doesn't begin with a giant leap of faith. It begins with a single, small step. Restoring that part of yourself can start right now with 5 simple, gentle invitations I'm about to share with you. These aren't complicated theological debates. They are real, practical things you can do the moment this video is over. And if this is a conversation you need to be having, if you're looking for a community of people who get it, I invite you to subscribe. We're building a space for people navigating the real and sometimes messy journey of faith. The first step, get radically honest. The very first thing to do is something that feels like the opposite of what we're taught. You have to get radically, even uncomfortably, honest. So many of us think that when we doubt, we're supposed to bury it, pretend it's not there, and put on a brave face. But faith was never meant to be a performance. And pretending the cracks aren't there is what causes the foundation to crumble. So, the first invitation is to stop running. The first step back is to gently look at what caused you to lose your footing in the first place. Ask yourself, what really happened here? Let your mind go back to the moment things started to feel off. Was it a tragedy that just didn't make sense? Was it a prayer that you whispered for so long that you just got tired of hearing your own voice? Was it seeing hypocrisy in people you looked up to? Was it something you learned that made you question everything you thought you knew? Be honest with yourself and with God about the hurt and the confusion. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding the wound. You can't heal what you refuse to look at. This quiet, honest moment is where the real work begins because you're finally seeing what needs to be mended. Think of it this way. When you go to the doctor, they ask, "Tell me exactly where it hurts." You don't just say, "I don't feel good." You point to the spot. It's time to do the same thing with your faith. Actually talk to God and name the thing that's bothering you. Say it out loud. God, I think I started to pull away when this happened. I'm still so angry about this. Until you can be honest with yourself and with God, you're just walking in circles. Honesty is the starting line for the journey home. The second step, go back to the very beginning. Once you've been honest about where the break is, the second invitation is to take all the pressure off and go back to the absolute basics. When faith feels heavy, our first instinct is to try and lift it all at once. We think we need to dive back into hour-long prayers, deep Bible studies, and showing up to every service. Honestly, that's a recipe for burnout when your tank is already on empty. Instead, think of your faith like a muscle that's gotten weak. You wouldn't walk into a gym after a long time away and try to lift your personal record. You'd start with the smallest, lightest weights. We have to give ourselves permission to do the same thing spiritually. And this can be so simple. Don't try to read a whole book of the Bible. Just read one verse. Find a single verse that used to bring you comfort and just sit with it for 60 seconds. Let that be the one seed you plant for the entire day. If praying feels like talking to an empty room, then just talk to the empty room. Prayer doesn't have to be poetic or perfect. It's just a conversation. You can literally just say, "God, if you're out there, I'm really struggling today. That's all I've got." That is an incredibly powerful prayer. And if you can't even do that, then just listen. Put on one worship song that used to stir something in you. Music has this incredible way of getting past all our arguments and defenses and speaking right to the heart. It can pull your focus away from the struggle and toward a little glimmer of hope, even if it's just for 3 minutes. The goal here isn't some massive spiritual experience. The goal is one single, positive point of connection. It's about taking one tiny step in the direction of home. The third step, find your person safely. Losing your faith can be one of the loneliest experiences. It's so easy to feel like you're the only one, adrift in a sea of people who all seem to have their hands raised, fully confident in their connection. That's why this third step is so important. Find your people. But, and this is a big but, you have to find them safely. Sometimes, the very community that was supposed to be our shelter is the source of the storm. So this step requires wisdom. I'm not telling you to walk into a big church service this weekend. I'm telling you to find your community, even if that community is just one person. Find one trusted friend, one person you know you can fall apart with, who won't try to fix you or judge you. Just sharing what you're going through with one safe person can change everything. When you say your doubts out loud to someone who receives them with grace, you strip them of their power. You realize you aren't crazy and you are not alone. There's a story in the Bible about the prophet Elijah. He was at his lowest point, totally convinced he was the only one left who hadn't given up. And God gently showed him that there were 7,000 others who felt just like him. That story isn't really about the number. It's about the soul-crushing lie that you're the only one. You are not the first person to feel this way, not even close. Finding someone who can share their own story of wrestling with God can reignite your own hope. Faith was never meant to be a solo mission. It's a team sport. Your job is just to find one person for your team. The fourth step, take one small action. That feeling of being spiritually lost often comes with a kind of paralysis. The thought of rebuilding everything is so huge that we end up doing nothing at all. This fourth step is the direct antidote to that paralysis. Take one tiny physical step. Faith isn't just a feeling we have, it's something we do. So I want to challenge you, right now. Think of one small, tangible action you can do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The journey back is a slow and patient one, built on small, consistent choices. Starting with just 15 minutes a day, dedicated to one small practice, can begin to turn everything around. What could that look like? It could be taking a 5-minute walk and just noticing everything you can be grateful for. The sky, a tree, the feeling of your lungs filling with air. Gratitude forces our perspective to shift from what's missing to what's here. It could be writing down just one of those things. It could be using those 5 minutes to pray for someone else, which is a beautiful way to get out of your own head. It could be sending a text to that one safe person from the last step. The point is, it's a small win. When you lose faith in God, you often lose faith in yourself, too. You have to rebuild that trust one small promise at a time. Think of it like turning a giant ship. That ship doesn't spin around on a dime. It turns 1 degree at a time. But slowly, consistently, those tiny 1-degree turns will point you in a completely new direction. What is the 1-degree turn you can make today? The fifth step, open the door. Just a crack. We've talked about being honest, starting small, finding a friend, and taking a step. This fifth and final invitation is what holds all the others together. It is the simple, yet profound act of opening your heart, even if it's just a tiny crack. This step is about being open to the idea that faith might look different on the other side of your doubt, and it's about being willing to forgive. A lot of the time, our faith shatters because we built it on a very specific set of expectations for how God was supposed to act. When life didn't follow the blueprint, the whole thing came crashing down. Rebuilding might mean letting go of some of the old rules and ideas that aren't helping anymore. A huge part of this is forgiveness. Maybe you need to forgive God for not showing up in the way you begged him to. Maybe you need to forgive people who hurt you in the name of their faith. And just as important, maybe you need to forgive yourself for having doubts. Holding on to bitterness is like trying to welcome a guest into your home while you have the door bolted shut. Nothing new can get in. So this final step is just an invitation. It's a choice to suspend your disbelief just for a moment and be open to the possibility that love is on the other side of the door. You don't have to force it. You don't have to pretend to feel some big wave of belief. Just be willing. There's that beautiful story of the prodigal son. After he's ruined everything, he decides to walk home, fully expecting to be rejected. But the story says that while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, felt compassion, and ran to him. That's the invitation. You just have to be willing to take that first step toward home. Open the door a tiny crack and just see what happens. These 5 steps, getting honest, going back to basics, finding a safe person, taking one small action, and opening the door. They aren't a magic formula that will fix everything overnight, but they are a start. They are proof that you don't have to stay stuck where you are. I would love to know which one of these steps resonated with you the most. Which one feels like something you could try today? Let me know in the comments below. Sharing that can be a powerful thing for you, and it just might be the encouragement someone else needed to see today. And if this was helpful, please subscribe and join the community we're building here. It's a place for people on a real, honest faith journey, and we would love to have you. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. You are not alone in this feeling, and you don't have to find your way back by yourself. Just start with one thing. One honest thought. One verse. One conversation. One step. One tiny prayer. May you feel a flicker of that old warmth today, and may you have the courage to gently protect it and help it grow.